Hello, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chloe. I am the mother of two, a little boy who's 6 and a little girl who is 2.5, and they have just flipped my world upside down. I used to be in the corporate world and now I am a yoga teacher, trained specifically to work with pre and postnatal women, but I'm really passionate about biomechanics and how we can weave that into yoga and perhaps some of the other traditional caregiving ways of the world that we used to use to support women in pre and postnatal education, but also in healing. And today I wanted to share with you a movement that is really helpful for people that perhaps have pain in their hips, pain in their lower back, and also any heaviness in their pelvic floor, or perhaps they're experiencing leaking or pressure issues in terms of heaviness again, or pressure issues in terms of when you're trying to go to the toilet, perhaps for a poo that's either not happening at all, so you feel like you're constipated, but actually it's more of a muscular issue, or you don't have any control and you can't hold anything in. So this is a really basic movement. There are progressions on top of this, and I find this movement to be really helpful for those mothers that are breastfeeding that complain of sore hips throughout the night. Now, we're only going to do this on the right side. So you're going to lie on your right side and use your left leg. I'm going to show you what the movement is, and then I'm going to talk you through why it's helpful. So, very simply, the movement is that you lie, as I said, on your right side, and you put your right foot so that it's flat onto the wall or the skirting board or whatever you have to hand. You want to have roughly a 90-degree bend in your knee, but you'll have to adjust this. So some of the women that I work with have a little bit of a longer leg, and some of them have a more bent leg. It depends entirely on how well your feet can push into the floor here. So we need to have really good connection between the big toe, the little toe, the inside of the heel and the outside of the heel, making up the whole foot. So you need to make sure that all of the foot from all of those four corners and then all the way through the middle is pressing into the wall with the right and with the left. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put ideally something that's circular, a foam roller, in between your legs. So what's happening on the right is I'm really being conscious of especially pushing through my right big toe, getting that whole connection through the foot, and possibly, if you can manage it, just a little bit of a pull backwards with the heel. So it's almost like you're trying to drag the right heel towards the back space, and that should just help to switch on your hamstring here. Now your left foot goes flat on the wall. Again, all four corners of the foot, the ball of the foot, the heel, are connected to the floor, connected to the wall, sorry. And then you're going to squeeze the roller. So as you inhale, your knee goes forwards. And as you exhale, you squeeze the roller and pull the hip back. So you're pulling the knee back, but the hip is the thing that's moving the knee. So as you inhale, the hip comes forwards, the knee comes forwards. You're not really squeezing the roller very much here. And then as you exhale, you engage the adductors, the inner thighs, to squeeze the roller and slowly pull the hip back. Then you can apply that pressure through the right foot. So make sure that that pressure is going into the wall and that you're really pushing through the right big toe. Inhale, drive the hip and the knee on the left forwards, and exhale, pull it back. Now that's the basic movement. If you then want to connect the whole system, thinking more about the abdominals and the pelvic floor here, you could use the diaphragmatic breath that's in a different video that's on here. As you inhale, you expand through the rib cage, and as you exhale, you open the jaw with a soft, and you're almost imagining that the diaphragm is pulling your tummy up, pulling your stomach up. So as you're squeezing and pulling back here, you'll feel it in the inner thigh. You also should feel it in the back of this left glute as well. And if you wanted to make it harder, this left hand could come away from the floor. As you inhale, that's going to help more back expansion. And as you exhale, you squeeze, you push the right foot into the wall and you pull back. So you would look to do around about 5 of those breaths, then have a rest, and then repeat it again if you were early postpartum. If you're a bit further along, or perhaps you're a year into your mothering journey and you've still got getting those sore hips and you've got pelvic floor dysfunction, start with 5 and then maybe you build up to 10, have a rest, and then do it twice more, so you're doing 3 rounds in total. Now the reason why this works is because in pregnancy our adductors get quite stretched because our rib cage reaches up, our back curves, so we lengthen through the front body, and that pulls these adductors and makes them quite long. Generally speaking, the left adductor is longer and weaker than the right adductor, and that's down to how most people stand. Most people generally stand more on their right side, and that pushes the tailbone over to the left and causes quite a lot of tightness in the left glute. And because the left glute is really, really tight, that even further lengthens through the quad definitely, but also through the adductor on the left. So it's something that you might want to try just on lying on the right hand side, using the left leg to engage through the left adductor. You could also, if you're somebody that is breastfeeding and you're lying down to feed, you could do this at night time with a cushion, so you won't get as much engagement through the adductor because it's not round, so you can't squeeze and roll, but it might just help you to take a little bit of that tension and that pressure away from the hips throughout the middle of those really long night feeds. I was feeding Beatrice for about 20 minutes yesterday night, and it is quite a lot on the body, so having those simple things that you can just do throughout those evening times can be quite helpful. So I hope you found that useful. That's left adductor strengthening. Like I said, it's the foundation. There are more things to build upon. If you feel as though you're at the foundation level, I have a full body reset for mothers that are either in early postpartum or mothers that wish to return to movement after having their baby that haven't done a huge amount since birth. And I will link that to this piece on here. I hope you found it useful, and if you have any comments, if it worked for you, let me know. If it didn't work and you need a little more guidance, again, give me a comment, let me know which bits felt odd, and I will try and help you make it work for you.